The experiment you're going to hear about is based on a real experiment that I read in a psychology book years ago.
This is Joe. Joe is a rhesus monkey. He doesn't live in the wild because he's a lab monkey. He's been raised in a lab to help find answers to human problems. Joe's not the one who actually runs the lab. Rather, he's the one they use in psychology experiments to help find answers. Joe was trained to press on levers in order to get rewards. If he presses the left lever, he gets lots of bananas. But if he presses on the right lever, he gets lots of grapes. He was taught that he can only press on one lever once a day for him to get his rewards. Now Joe learned quickly to always press the left lever because he goes bananas over bananas. That's his favorite treat. One day, Dr. Bill planned an experiment on depression. The new conditions for Joe were the following. They would make him skip his morning meal to make him go hungry. This time, Joe had to learn that if he pressed the left lever, he would get bananas, but a very small amount of them, less than half a banana. But if Joe pressed the right lever, he would still get lots of grapes. Now remember, Joe was really hungry and could only get one reward per day. What do you think was Joe's choice? Being hungry, would he choose the larger amount of grapes from the right lever so he could fill his belly? Or would he choose the left lever because bananas were his favorite, even though he could only get a small portion of them? The answer might shock you. Unbelievably, Joe could not make a choice. Because the choice was so much harder for him, and Joe being just an animal, he simply couldn't make up his mind, and so he became clinically depressed. Dr. Bill concluded that this could be applied to human circumstances. Sometimes when a person is confronted with difficult life choices, that person might not be capable to choose, and when that's the case, they fall into a depression. An example of that in real life could be like this man, pictured here, who just got a call from his boss letting him know that he's been offered a new position within the company. If he accepts the position, he would be promoted to a higher status and get a lot more money than what he makes with his current job. That man waited years to get that promotion. Problem is, he would have to move to a city far away from where he's currently living. His wife doesn't want them to move because their kids love their school, and also the neighborhood is exactly the kind they'd been looking for so long. The man realizes that his family wants to stay where they are, but his promotion is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He's expected to make a difficult decision, but he just can't bring himself to do it. And so, just like our little friend Joe the monkey, he falls into a depression. In the book of Psalms, chapter 73, we read about a man named Asaph who found himself having difficulty in making a decision. Whenever he looked at the world with all its pleasures and lusts, he thought he was getting a raw deal by following God. He started thinking that maybe he should stop following God and go back into the world. In verses 13 and 14, Asaph said to himself, "All in vain have I kept my heart clean and washed my hands in innocence, for all day long I have been stricken and rebuked every morning." It's almost like he's thinking that Christians are losers. He was becoming bitter and jealous of those who don't follow God. But then in verses 21 and 22, he realizes this truth. "When my heart was grieved and my spirit embittered, I was senseless and ignorant. I was a brute beast before you." The expression brute beast is translated in another Bible version as a stupid animal. He realized that when believers take their eyes off the promises of God and the person of God, and they look to the idols of this world to find pleasure, they become like Joe the monkey, a stupid animal, a brute beast that can't make a choice. And why not? Because they are attracted to the wrong things. The answer to this dilemma is found in the very presence of God. Asaph says, "When I tried to understand all this, it troubled me deeply till I entered the sanctuary of God. Then I understood their final destiny." He understood that the end of the wicked is eternal destruction. And when Asaph lifts his eyes up to consider God and eternity, he realizes that choosing isn't as difficult after all. In verse 25 he says, "Whom have I in heaven but you? And there is nothing on earth that I desire besides you." He adds, "It is good for me to draw near to God. I have put my trust in the Lord God that I may declare all your works." Let me finish with this. Hebrews 11 reminds us that it is by faith that Moses, when he became of age, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the passing pleasures of sin, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures of Egypt, for he looked for the reward. Dear friend, don't keep your eyes on the rewards of this world, which are mere rotting bananas compared to the riches that are waiting for us when this life is over. Keep your eyes on God and His eternal rewards that have been made secure for us by the finished work of Christ.
Disclaimer: no animals were harmed in the making of this video. We would like to thank Ben the Banana and his friends, Anita the Grape and her friends, and last but not least, Joe the Monkey, who graciously accepted to be our actors in this video clip you've just watched. God bless!